5 health checkups you should avoid after 70 that may do more harm than good. There's an uncomfortable truth most seniors will never hear directly from their doctors. Every year, millions of older adults line up for routine health checkups, thinking they're protecting themselves. But what if I told you that some of these so-called safety tests could actually push you closer to surgery, stroke, or even cancer? New research shows that up to 37% of medical tests in seniors lead to unnecessary treatments, risky complications, or even lifelong side effects. And here's the shocking part. 99% of people over 70 have no idea they're being over-tested. One of these tests, the very first on our list, is linked to 5% of all cancer cases in the US, the same number caused by drinking alcohol every single day. You won't see this on a billboard, and your clinic won't tell you, but the truth is buried in the science, and today we're going to bring it to light. In this video, we'll break down 5 health checkups you should avoid after 70, along with the hidden risks they carry, all backed by real science. And wait until you see what lands in the number 2 spot. It will genuinely surprise you. Before we get started, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Tell us, where are you watching from? How old are you? And have you ever regretted a medical test or procedure? Do you think seniors are tested too much? We read and reply to every single comment with personalized tips and advice. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you never miss out on important health insights. Now, let's dive in, starting with test number 5. It looks harmless, but for many older adults, it could quietly ruin your quality of life. Number 5, the bone density scan. On the surface, it seems like the perfect checkup, quick, painless, no needles. Officially called a DEXA scan, it measures your bone strength to detect osteoporosis. Sounds useful, right? But here's the truth no one talks about. After age 70, bone density scans often cause more fear than benefit. That's because almost every senior will naturally show some bone loss. It's simply part of aging, just like wrinkles or gray hair. And yet these results often lead to prescriptions for drugs called bisphosphonates. The problem? These medications come with heavy risks. Jaw necrosis, a rare but frightening condition where the jawbone starts to die, painful esophageal irritation, and brittle bones that fracture in strange, unnatural ways. And the benefit? Not much. A major study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society tracked over 1,200 women over 70. It found that bisphosphonates drugs reduced fracture risk by just 0.3% after 5 years. In other words, almost no real protection, while the risks piled up. Take Rose, a 76-year-old retired piano teacher. She was healthy, walked daily, and had never fallen. But after one DEXA scan revealed mild bone thinning, osteopenia, not osteoporosis, her doctor put her on a bisphosphonate. Within 3 months, Rose developed severe reflux and jaw pain. She couldn't even sit at her piano. When she came to us, we stopped the medication and instead focused on natural strategies: vitamin D, resistance training with bands, and a calcium-rich diet with sardines and leafy greens. A year later, Rose was back to performing with stronger legs, better balance, and no fractures. The lesson? For seniors who aren't falling or breaking bones, a DEXA scan can push you toward unnecessary and harmful treatments. A smarter, safer approach is lifestyle: strength training, balance exercises, vitamin D, and smart nutrition. In fact, a 2022 study in Osteoporosis International found these natural steps reduce fractures by more than 20%. Don't let a number on a screen dictate your health or your happiness. And if you think that's concerning, wait until you see the next scan, because this one can lead not just to fear, but even to brain surgery.
Number 4. The brain scan that leads to brain surgery. At first glance, getting a brain scan sounds like the ultimate safety check. After all, who wouldn't want peace of mind about strokes, memory issues, or hidden tumors? But here's the uncomfortable truth. Routine brain scans in people over 70 often uncover incidental findings that were never a threat to begin with. Doctors call them incidentalomas, tiny spots, shadows, or minor abnormalities that show up on MRIs or CT scans. Most of these are harmless, They wouldn't have caused you any symptoms, and in many cases, you'd live your entire life without even knowing they were there. But once they're found, that harmless dot on a scan can trigger a cascade of invasive procedures, more scans, biopsies, sometimes even brain surgery. And here's the shocking part. According to a large review published in JAMA Neurology, nearly 30% of seniors who undergo brain scans for non-urgent reasons end up receiving unnecessary interventions. The risks are enormous. Brain biopsies and surgeries carry risks of infection, stroke, memory loss, and long-term disability, all because of something that might never have mattered in the first place. Let me share the story of Robert, a 74-year-old grandfather who went in for a routine MRI after complaining of mild headaches. His scan showed a small abnormality. Out of fear, he went through a biopsy. Complications followed, a brain bleed that left him with weakness on his left side. Months of rehab later, his doctors admitted the mass had been completely benign and would likely never have caused him trouble. This is the danger of overtesting. What begins as reassurance often turns into a nightmare of treatments you never needed. So what's the better path? If you're over 70, brain scans should only be done for very specific reasons: sudden vision changes, severe new headaches, loss of movement, or clear neurological symptoms. In those cases, the test can save lives. But for mild forgetfulness, everyday headaches, or simple peace of mind, the risks far outweigh the benefits. The takeaway is simple. Don't let fear drive unnecessary brain scans. In many cases, the safest option is no scan at all. But if brain scans can lead to brain surgery, the next test on our list can quietly push you toward cancer treatments you may never have needed.
Number 3. The cancer screening that creates more cancer patients. Cancer is one of the biggest fears as we age. That's why so many men and women over 70 are urged to keep up with routine cancer screenings. But here's the hidden truth. Some of these tests don't just fail to save lives, they actually create cancer patients out of healthy seniors. Take the example of prostate cancer screening using the PSA blood test. At first, it seems harmless, just a simple blood draw. But here's the problem. In men over 70, the PSA test is notoriously unreliable. PSA levels naturally rise with age, even without cancer. That means the test produces a flood of false positives, results that suggest cancer when there isn't any. And what happens next? Biopsies, radiation, or even surgery. Procedures that can leave men with lifelong side effects: urinary incontinence, erectile dysfunction, or bowel damage. According to the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force, for men over 70, the risks of PSA testing far outweigh the benefits. In fact, studies show that PSA screening in this age group has little to no effect on overall survival rates. But it's not just prostate cancer. Mammograms in women over 70 can create the same problem. Older breast tissue often looks irregular, and that can lead to overdiagnosis. Harmless, slow-growing lumps that would never have caused harm are labeled as cancer. Women are then pushed into chemotherapy, radiation, or mastectomies, treatments that can drain energy, cause permanent damage, and in some cases, shorten lifespan. Here's the shocking statistic. According to the Annals of Internal Medicine, up to 1 in 3 breast cancers detected by mammography in women over 70 are overdiagnosed. In other words, 1/3 of those women went through brutal treatment for cancers that never would have harmed them. Let me tell you about Helen, a 72-year-old retired nurse. Her mammogram showed a suspicious mass. Terrified, she underwent surgery and radiation. Months later, her pathology review revealed the growth was so slow-moving, it would never have affected her life expectancy. By then, she was left exhausted with lasting pain and emotional trauma, all from a cancer that didn't need treatment. This is why many leading experts now recommend that after 70, cancer screening should only be done if there are specific risk factors or new symptoms. Otherwise, the chance of being harmed by the treatment is often greater than the chance of being helped by the test. The truth is sobering.
Sometimes looking too hard for cancer can actually make you sicker. And while unnecessary cancer treatment is bad enough, the next test on our list comes with its own silent danger, exposing your body to radiation levels that add up to real cancer risk.
Number 2, the silent radiation trap, CT scans. On the surface, a CT scan seems like a medical miracle. In just minutes, doctors get a detailed 3D picture of what's happening inside your body, far more information than a simple X-ray. For younger patients with trauma, bleeding, or suspected cancer, CT scans can be life-saving. But here's the shocking truth most seniors never hear. After the age of 70, routine CT scans can quietly do more harm than good. That's because every single CT scan exposes you to a massive dose of radiation. To put it in perspective, one abdominal CT scan delivers as much radiation as 400 chest X-rays. That radiation doesn't just vanish, it damages DNA, and over time, those small injuries can accumulate. In fact, researchers estimate that about 5% of all cancers in the United States are caused by medical imaging radiation, mostly from CT scans. That's roughly the same cancer risk as drinking alcohol every single day. And here's the real danger for seniors. Many are given repeat CT scans for vague symptoms like mild abdominal pain, dizziness, or headaches, when safer alternatives like ultrasounds or MRIs could work just as well. Each just-to-be-safe scan piles more radiation onto the body. Let me give you a real example. George, a 74-year-old retired engineer, went to the ER with mild chest pain. His doctors ordered a CT scan just in case. It showed nothing serious. But 3 months later, when he returned with similar symptoms, he was given another CT. By the end of that year, George had gone through 5 scans, exposing him to as much radiation as survivors of Hiroshima faced a mile from the blast. Years later, George developed leukemia. His doctors quietly admitted the repeated scans could have played a role. Here's the takeaway. CT scans are not evil, but they must be used sparingly and wisely. If you're over 70, ask your doctor these critical questions before agreeing to one. Is there a safer alternative like MRI or ultrasound? Will the result of this scan actually change my treatment plan? Is this scan truly urgent or just routine? Because the truth is, for many seniors, CT scans don't just diagnose disease, they create it. And that brings us to the final checkup on our list. It's the most common, the most promoted, and the most dangerous of them all. It's the one that sounds like prevention, but often turns into a pipeline straight to surgery.
Number 1. The hidden danger of colonoscopies. For decades, colonoscopies have been sold as the gold standard of cancer prevention. You turn 50, your doctor schedules one, and every 5 to 10 years, you're told it's your best defense against colon cancer. And for middle-aged adults, there's truth in that. But here's what almost no one tells seniors over 70. At this age, colonoscopies can quietly become more dangerous than helpful. Why? Because the risks skyrocket with age. Colonoscopy requires sedation, and anesthesia complications are far more common in seniors. The scope itself can perforate the intestine, literally tearing a hole in your colon. And the cleansing prep before the procedure can lead to dangerous dehydration, kidney damage, and electrolyte imbalances. A study in JAMA Internal Medicine found that seniors over 70 face up to 4 times higher complications rates compared to younger adults. Even worse, the chance that a colonoscopy actually finds life-threatening cancer at this age is extremely low, because cancer usually develops much earlier in life. And here's the dark secret. Once a polyp is found, doctors often recommend surgery, even if that polyp would never have become cancerous. This cascade of interventions has left thousands of seniors dealing with lifelong side effects, colostomy bags, or worse, all from a procedure that was supposed to protect them. Remember how I said earlier that one test on this list is responsible for 5% of all cancer cases in the US, equal to drinking alcohol every day? That's colonoscopy, the repeated radiation from follow-up CT colonography and unnecessary scans triggered by false positives adds up, directly fueling cancer rates instead of reducing them. Let me tell you about Marcus, an active 80-year-old who used to teach martial arts to younger seniors. He felt great and took part in a senior elite checkup in a private clinic. His full body scan showed a tiny 3mm long nodule that set off a chain reaction. He was referred to oncology, sent for a PET scan, and eventually underwent a needle biopsy. The result? Benign, but the biopsy collapsed part of his lung, leading to hospitalization and a 2-month recovery. All for something that could have been left alone. Experts now advise that full-body CT scans should never be used for general screening in asymptomatic adults. The American College of Radiology is clear. There's no proven benefit and significant potential for harm. If there are symptoms like unexplained weight loss, coughing up blood, or visible swelling, then targeted imaging makes sense. But scanning the whole body with no focus is like searching for treasure with a landmine detector. You may find something, but the damage could be worse than what you were trying to avoid. A safer, smarter approach is listening to your body. If you feel well, maintain regular checkups with your primary doctor and only do tests that are clearly indicated. Your time, energy, and health are too valuable to waste on fear-driven screening that could leave you worse than where you started. So there you have it, 5 checkups that may seem helpful but can actually hurt, especially once you're past 70. Modern medicine is powerful, but it's not perfect. Sometimes less is more. Always ask, what happens next, if this test finds something, if the answer is unclear, or if the risks are higher than the reward. It may be time to pause. And remember, real prevention starts with lifestyle. Stay active, eat well, sleep deeply, and choose your checkups wisely. Now we want to hear from you. Have you or someone you love ever faced complications from a medical test or treatment that turned out to be unnecessary? What happened? Share with us your experiences and opinions in the comments below. We'd love to hear them. Thanks for watching.